Welcome back to Master 79. Today we are building a Band 9 answer to an ielts writing task 2 question about extreme sports and whether they should be banned. We will decode the question, brainstorm both sides properly, plan the essay, and then write the whole thing paragraph by paragraph. Here is the question. Some people believe that extreme sports like skydiving and skiing are too dangerous and should therefore be prohibited. Do you agree or disagree? Explain your viewpoint with reasons and include appropriate examples based on your knowledge or experiences. Read it twice. Almost every low score starts with a rush reading of the prompt. Let us decode it. This is an opinion question, agree or disagree, so you need one clear position and you must hold it from the first line to the last. Skydiving and skiing are only examples, so do not write an essay about skiing alone. Now look closely at the word therefore. The prompt makes an argument these sports are dangerous, therefore they should be banned. That gives you an opening. You can fully accept that they are dangerous and still reject the ban, and that is exactly the line this essay takes. Before writing, spend 3 or 4 minutes generating both sides. On the left, the case for a ban, the injury and fatality rates, the rescuers who are put at risk, the cost to public healthcare, and the glamorizing of reckless behavior. On the right, the case against adults have the right to accept a risk they understand. The danger is manageable through training and certification. Bans simply push the activity underground. Whole alpine economies depend on these sports, and the law is inconsistent because driving and boxing remain perfectly legal. Notice that the right-hand column is stronger. That is how you choose your side. So the position is disagree, but notice how it is framed. We are not denying the danger, we are rejecting the remedy. The thesis is that the sensible response to manageable danger is rigorous regulation, not blanket prohibition. Concede the strongest opposing point early. It reads as confidence, not weakness. And decide your position before you plan, so that every paragraph afterwards has exactly one job, which is to defend it. Here is the plan. 4 paragraphs. The introduction paraphrases the claim, concedes the risk, and states the position with the reason behind it. Body 1 argues from autonomy. Body 2 argues that prohibition would backfire. The conclusion restates the position in new words and offers the alternative policy. 2 bodies, 2 genuinely different reasons. That is all a Band 9 essay needs. The introduction. It is sometimes argued that pursuits such as skydiving and skiing are so hazardous that governments ought to outlaw them altogether. While I accept that these activities carry a genuine risk of serious injury, I firmly disagree with the proposed remedy because the sensible response to manageable danger is rigorous regulation rather than blanket prohibition. 55 words. Pursuits such as replaces sports like so nothing is copied from the prompt. The concession comes first, then the disagreement, and the thesis already names the alternative. Body paragraph 1. My first reason concerns personal autonomy. Competent adults are entitled to accept hazards they genuinely understand, particularly when those hazards can be substantially reduced. Extreme sports are rarely as reckless as their reputation suggests. Most are governed by demanding certification regimes. A novice skydiver, for instance, cannot jump unsupervised until they have completed a structured training progression, and a modern rig will deploy its reserve canopy automatically if the jumper fails to do so. Where such safeguards exist, risk is being actively managed rather than ignored, and a state that responds with an outright ban treats its citizens as incapable of weighing consequences for themselves. The topic sentence gives the reason immediately, and the skydiving example is built into the argument rather than bolted on at the end. Body paragraph 2. A more practical objection is that prohibition would aggravate the very harm it seeks to prevent. Banning an activity does not extinguish the appetite for it, it simply drives participants beyond the reach of licensed instructors, inspected equipment, and organized rescue services, so the likely outcome is more casualties rather than fewer. Prohibition would also destroy considerable value. Alpine communities such as Chamonix and Queensland depend almost entirely on the winter tourism these sports generate, and participants themselves acquire discipline, composure under pressure, and sound judgment that serve them well beyond the mountain. Notice that this is a different kind of argument from Body 1. The first was moral, this one is practical. Two flavors of the same idea would cost you marks. The conclusion. In conclusion, although the dangers associated with extreme sports are undeniable, banning them would be both an unwarranted intrusion into personal freedom and a self-defeating policy. Governments should concentrate instead on enforcing training standards, equipment inspection, and honest public information about the risks involved. 44 words. New wording, no new arguments, and a policy alternative that gives the essay a real sense of resolution. Here is the complete essay, 297 words. Pause the video and read it straight through, because an essay reads very differently as a whole than it does paragraph by paragraph. Watch how the position stated in the introduction is still visibly driving every sentence in the conclusion. Before we finish, 4 traps that quietly cap your score. Sitting on the fence if you never commit. Task response stops around band 5 or 6. Inventing statistics. False precision damages your credibility and examiners are not fooled. 2 paragraphs with 1 idea. If Body 2 only rephrases Body 1, you have written 1 reason, not 2, and memorized filler openings since the dawn of time and so on, which contribute nothing and waste 40 words of your budget. Take this language with you. For stating a position I firmly disagree with, the sensible response is the proposed remedy is misguided. For risk and regulation carry a genuine risk of demanding certification regimes actively managed rather than ignored. And for arguing and conceding, a more practical objection is that aggravate the very harm it seeks to prevent, an unwarranted intrusion into a self-defeating policy. Learn these as whole phrases, not as single words. Why this reaches band 9. Task response, a clear position, stated early, never abandoned, with 2 developed reasons and a real example in each. Coherence and cohesion, 1 central idea per paragraph, with cohesion carried by referencing and sentence structure rather than a shopping list of linking words. Lexical resource, precise, natural collocation, with no thesaurus reaching. Grammatical range, concessive clauses, semicolons, conditionals, and passives, all used accurately and for a reason. 1 honest note. This band 9 rating is our own quality check against the public ielts band descriptors. It is not a score awarded by a certified examiner. Now your turn. Rewrite Body paragraph 2 arguing the opposite, that prohibition would actually reduce harm. Same structure, same length. Post it in the comments and I will read through them. If this helped, subscribe to Master 79 for more band 9 walkthroughs. See you in the next one.